The empty paradise. The Prometheus Rising drifted into orbit around Verdana, 7 on the morning of its 1461st day in space. Commander Elena Vasquez stood at the observation window, her dark eyes reflecting the planet below. It looked like Earth's younger sister. Blue oceans, green-tinged landmasses, swirling white clouds. After 4 years of cold sleep rotations and recycled air, the sight made her chest ache with something close to hope. Atmospheric analysis complete, announced Dr. Marcus Webb from his station. The biologist's voice carried a tremor that Elena had never heard before. Commander, you need to see this. Elena crossed the bridge in 3 quick strides. The data scrolling across Marcus's screen made no sense. She read it twice, then a third time. That's impossible, she said. I've run it 7 times. Oxygen at 21.3%. Nitrogen at 78%. Trace gases within Earth normal parameters. Surface temperature averaging 22 degrees Celsius. Humidity perfect for human comfort. Marcus turned to face her, his brown skin pale beneath the bridge lights. It's more breathable than Earth, Elena. Cleaner. Like someone filtered out all the pollution and balanced everything to exact specifications. And the biology scan? Marcus's jaw tightened. Nothing. Not a single microbe. No bacteria, no viruses, no fungi. No plants, no animals, no insects. The planet is completely sterile. Elena felt cold despite the regulated temperature. Planets didn't work this way. Breathable atmospheres required billions of years of biological processes. Oxygen came from photosynthesis. Without life, there shouldn't be air worth breathing. Get the team together, she said. We're going down. The landing craft touched down on a plain of copper-colored soil beside a river that ran clear as glass. Dr. Yuki Tanaka was first to the viewport, her geological scanners already humming with data. Behind her, engineer Raj Patel ran system checks with nervous efficiency, while Dr. Samuel Okonkwo prepared medical equipment with the steady hands of a surgeon. Soil composition is extraordinary, Yuki reported. Her Japanese accent thickened when she was excited, and right now her words tumbled over each other. Rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, everything plants need to thrive. pH perfectly balanced. This ground is ready to grow things. It's just waiting. Waiting for what? Raj asked. He was young, barely 30, with quick dark eyes that missed nothing. Nobody answered. Elena opened the airlock. The air that rushed in tasted sweet and pure, carrying no scent of decay or growth. It was air that had never known life, never carried pollen or spores or the microscopic passengers that filled every breath on Earth. She inhaled deeply and felt it fill her lungs with unsettling perfection. Spread out, she ordered. But stay within sight of the lander. Yuki, geological survey. Marcus, biological sampling. Samuel, environmental health monitoring. Raj, you're with me. They walked across soil that had never known footprints. In the distance, mountains rose purple against a sky that held 2 small moons. The system's orange sun cast long shadows across formations of crystal that erupted from the ground like frozen fountains. Commander. Marcus's voice crackled through her earpiece. The river water is pure H2O with trace minerals. No organic compounds whatsoever. I placed our control bacteria samples on the shore 15 minutes ago. They haven't grown. They haven't died either. They're just suspended. Same with the soil cultures, Yuki added. Perfect growing conditions, but nothing happens. It's like the planet is holding its breath. Elena approached the crystal formations with Raj close behind. Up close, she could see they weren't simple minerals. Patterns spiraled through them, complex and repeating, almost like circuitry. When she placed her palm against one, warmth pulsed against her skin. Did you feel that? Raj whispered. Yes. The crystal pulsed again and Elena felt something else, a sensation like being scanned, measured, evaluated. She jerked her hand back. Commander. Samuel's voice was sharp with alarm. Everyone needs to return to the lander immediately. I'm picking up anomalous readings from all crew members. They gathered in the medical bay as Samuel ran his scanners over each of them. His dark face grew grimmer with each pass. Your cellular activity has increased by 340% since we landed, he said. All of you. Your DNA is active. Sections that should be dormant are switching on. Sections that should be stable are recombining. What does that mean? Yuki asked. I don't know. But something on this planet is affecting us at the genetic level. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. She lay in her bunk listening to the alien silence outside. No insects, no wind through leaves, no sounds of life. Just emptiness waiting to be filled. She rose and walked to the washroom. In the mirror, her reflection looked tired but normal. Dark hair pulled back, olive skin, the small scar on her chin from a childhood accident. She splashed water on her face. Then she saw her hands. Small green nodes dotted her knuckles, each one no larger than a grain of rice. They glistened under the lights, and when she looked closer, she could see they were structured like seeds, tiny, perfect seeds embedded in her skin, ready to sprout. Elena did not scream. She was a commander. Commanders did not scream. She walked to Samuel's quarters and woke him with a touch. When he saw her hands, his professional calm shattered for just a moment before training reasserted itself. "Wake the others," he said. "Everyone needs to be examined. Now." They gathered in the medical bay as the orange sun rose over the crystal formations outside. What they discovered ended any hope that the changes were isolated. Marcus had developed patches of what looked like moss growing along his forearms. The green tissue was integrated with his skin, drawing nutrients from his blood, photosynthesizing under the lights. When Samuel took a sample, Marcus winced. "I can feel them," Marcus said. His voice was hollow. "They're part of me. They're hungry for sunlight." Yuki's transformation was different. Her fingernails had thickened and darkened, becoming something like bark. The change was spreading up her fingers, covering her hands in woody armor that clicked when she moved. Raj had it worst. During the night, root-like structures had pushed through the soles of his feet. They were thin and white, seeking constantly, and when he tried to walk, they left trails in the metal floor like a plant searching for soil. "I can't feel them trying to dig," Raj said. He was shaking. "They want to anchor. They want to connect to something." Samuel examined himself last. Networks of filaments spread beneath his skin, visible as dark branching lines across his chest and arms. When he pressed on them, he could feel them responding, spreading information through his body like a secondary nervous system. "The planet isn't killing us," Samuel announced, his voice carefully controlled. "It's transforming us, converting us into something that can survive here. Something that belongs here." "Can you stop it?" Elena asked. Samuel met her eyes. "I can try." He tried. Every treatment, every drug, every medical intervention he could devise. The transformations continued regardless, accelerating with each passing hour. By the second day, Elena's seeds had sprouted, producing small leaf-like structures that emerged from her skin and turned toward any light source. By the third day, Marcus's moss had spread across his shoulders and up his neck. On the fourth day, they tried to leave. Raj couldn't board the lander. The moment he stepped onto the metal ramp, pain exploded through his transformed feet. His roots writhed and contracted, sending agony through his nervous system until he collapsed back onto the soil. The moment he touched ground, the pain stopped. His roots immediately began digging, seeking water, seeking minerals, seeking connection. "It won't let us go," Raj gasped. "I can feel it. The planet won't let us go." Elena helped him up, her own leafy growths rustling with the movement. She could feel the truth of his words through her own transformation. The leaves on her body had connected to her circulatory system. They needed this sun, this atmosphere, this specific world. Anywhere else they would wither. And if they withered, she suspected she would die with them. "Then we don't go," she said. The words felt like surrender. "We stay. We learn. We understand what's happening to us." Marcus stood at the edge of their camp, his moss-covered body turned toward the rising sun. He'd stopped fighting the transformation 2 days ago, and something had changed in him. The fear had faded, replaced by a strange peace. "I can hear it," he said softly. "Through the moss, through the soil, through everything. The planet isn't attacking us, Elena. It's been waiting. Billions of years just waiting. It needed something, but everything that came before wasn't right." He turned to face her, and his eyes held wonder instead of horror. "We're right. Humans are exactly what it was waiting for." "Waiting for us to do what?" Yuki asked. Her bark-covered hands flexed constantly, testing their new strength. Marcus smiled, and it was the first genuine smile any of them had seen since landing. To become its first garden. The becoming. 20 days after landing, Elena Vasquez no longer recognized herself in any mirror. Her skin had taken on a greenish tint, chlorophyll integrating with her cells at the molecular level. Leaves covered her arms and shoulders, broad and efficient, drinking in the orange sunlight that now felt as necessary as oxygen. Her feet had developed root nodules that sent pleasurable signals through her body whenever she stood on soil. She should have been terrified. Instead, she felt more alive than she had in years. The crew had established a new camp near the crystal formations, their original landing site now overgrown with vegetation that had sprouted from their transformed bodies. Everywhere a crew member walked, life followed. Seeds fell from Elena's hair and took root. Spores drifted from Marcus's moss and colonized nearby rocks. Raj's extensive root network had spawned dozens of new growths, each one connected to him through the soil like children tethered to a parent. They were becoming an ecosystem, one human body at a time. "I found something," Yuki announced one morning. Her voice had deepened as her transformation progressed, resonating through her bark-plated chest. She'd grown nearly 6 inches taller, her body reinforced with woody tissue that creaked pleasantly when she moved. Buried structures about 2 kilometers north. Not natural formations. Not human either. They walked as a group now, their transformations making separation dangerous. Elena's leaves needed the light, but Marcus's moss needed shade. Raj provided both, his tall form casting shadows while his root network created pathways that nurtured everyone who walked above it. Samuel's fungal networks connected them all, allowing feelings and impressions to pass between them like words in a shared language. The buried structure emerged from a hillside like bones pushing through skin. It was clearly artificial, geometric patterns of metal and crystal arranged in configurations that hurt the eye if stared at too long. And at its entrance, partially preserved by the dry soil, they found remains. Not human remains. The skeleton, if it could be called that, was perhaps 2 meters long with too many joints and too few symmetries. Its bones were crystalline, similar to the formations that dotted the landscape. Beside it lay objects that might have been tools or instruments, their purpose unclear. "Another visitor," Samuel said. His fungal networks pulsed as he examined the remains. "Dead a long time. Thousands of years, maybe more." Elena knelt beside the alien skeleton. Fragments of tissue still clung to the crystalline bones. Tissue that showed the same transformation patterns they were experiencing. Leaf-like structures, root networks, woody growths. But these were twisted, incomplete, as if the process had been interrupted. They didn't survive, she realized. They transformed, but it killed them. Marcus ran his hand over the alien bones, and his moss seemed to recoil. Their biology wasn't compatible. The planet tried to change them, but they couldn't adapt fast enough. The transformation outpaced their ability to survive it. "So why are we surviving?" Yuki asked. The answer came through Samuel's fungal networks, impressions and data flowing from the crystal structures that surrounded them. The planet wasn't just changing them, it was communicating, sharing information accumulated over billions of patient years. "Because we're human," Samuel said slowly, his eyes unfocused as he processed alien knowledge. "The planet has been trying this for millions of years. Different species, different visitors. Most died in days. Some lasted weeks. But none of them were adaptable enough." His eyes focused on Elena. "Humans evolved on a planet that tried to kill us constantly. Disease, predators, climate change, cosmic radiation. We survived everything Earth threw at us. We adapted to every environment, ate almost any food, recovered from almost any injury. We're the most adaptable complex organisms in the galaxy. And that's why we're surviving the transformation," Elena finished. "More than surviving. We're thriving. Our bodies are incorporating the changes better than any species before us." The planet finally found what it was looking for. Raj had been silent, his roots spread wide across the floor of the alien structure. Now he spoke, his voice distant. "There's more down here. Deep underground. Something big." They followed his roots through tunnels that seemed to have been grown rather than dug. Crystal formations provided light, pulsing in response to their presence. The walls were covered in patterns that Samuel's networks translated as a kind of history, images of visitors arriving, transforming, failing. Image after image of death and disappointment. Then they reached the chamber at the heart of the structure. It was vast, perhaps a kilometer across, filled with crystalline machinery that hummed with ancient power. At its center stood a pillar of pure light, surrounded by what looked like gardens, but gardens filled with alien plants grown from alien visitors, preserved across millennia like specimens in a museum. "A Genesis engine," Yuki breathed. "This whole planet is a machine. Someone built it to create ecosystems." Samuel's fungal networks exploded with information as they connected to the crystalline systems. His eyes rolled back, and for a moment, Elena feared they'd lost him. Then he gasped and returned to them, tears streaming down his transformed face. "I understand," he said. "I understand everything." The story he told them was older than Earth itself. The builders had been a species so ancient that even the planet's records showed only fragments of memory. They had spread across the galaxy, seeding worlds with life, but they'd faced a problem. Complex ecosystems were fragile things, requiring millions of species working in delicate balance. Transporting entire ecosystems across interstellar distances was impossible. So they built Genesis engines. Planets designed to create ecosystems from raw materials, visiting species who could be transformed into foundation organisms. One species, properly transformed, could spawn an entire biosphere. Its modified genes would produce plants, fungi, bacteria, eventually animals. Everything needed for a living world, grown from a single template. But finding the right template was almost impossible. Most species were too specialized, too rigid, too fragile. They died rather than transformed. The Genesis engines waited and waited, testing each visitor, rejecting each failure, until humanity arrived. We're not just becoming part of the ecosystem, Elena said. We're becoming the ecosystem. Our genes are being rewritten to spawn everything this world needs. Not just this world, Samuel corrected. The engine is preparing packets, seed ships. Once we're fully transformed, once the ecosystem is stable, it will send samples to other Genesis engines throughout the galaxy. Human-derived life, spreading across worlds that have waited billions of years to live. The implications were staggering. Humanity wouldn't just colonize other worlds. Humanity would become other worlds, their modified genetics the foundation of biospheres across the galaxy. We have to warn Earth, Raj said. Other ships will come. Other people will land and transform. Yes, Elena agreed. They will. But as she said it, she wasn't sure if it was a warning or a promise. The communications array had stopped working after their first week on Verdana, 7. Raj determined it wasn't broken. The planet was simply blocking their signals. But now, as they stood in the Genesis chamber, he felt the interference lifting. We can send a message, he announced. The planet is letting us transmit. Elena considered what to say. How could she explain what had happened to them? How could she warn future visitors while also conveying the wonder, the purpose, the profound meaning they discovered? In the end she kept it simple. This is Commander Elena Vasquez of the Prometheus Rising. We reached Verdana, 7 successfully. The planet is not what we expected. It transforms any complex life that lands here, rewriting genetic code to create ecosystem foundation species. My crew and I have been transformed. We can no longer leave. We no longer want to leave. She paused, watching her leaf-covered hands type commands into the transmitter. Future expeditions should understand that landing here means changing forever. It means becoming something more than human, and less. It means giving yourself to a purpose larger than anything our species has ever known. Some will see this as a death sentence. Others will see it as an opportunity. She smiled, feeling sunlight through the chamber's crystal ceiling feeding her transformed body. I see it as evolution. Humanity has always adapted to survive. Now we adapt to give life to worlds that have never known it. Our DNA will become the foundation of 1,000 biospheres. Our descendants will be forests and oceans and creatures we cannot imagine. If you come here you will change. You cannot prevent it. You can only decide how you face it, with fear or with wonder. She ended the transmission and turned to face her crew. Marcus's moss rippled in the crystal light. Yuki's bark-armored form stood solid as ancient trees. Raj's roots spread across the chamber floor, connecting everything. Samuel's fungal networks pulsed with shared consciousness. They were no longer purely human. They would never be purely human again. But as Elena walked outside into the orange sunlight, feeling her leaves unfurl toward the sky, feeling her roots aching to dig deep into soil that needed her, feeling the planet's vast patience finally being rewarded, she understood that humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to become something new. They hadn't been conquered by an alien world. They'd been recruited by one. 6 months later, the plain around their landing site had become a forest. Trees that grew from Marcus's spores reached toward the sky, their bark patterned after Yuki's transformed skin. Ground cover spread from Elena's seeds, carpeting the copper soil in green. Creatures moved through the undergrowth, small things that had sprouted from Raj's root networks, primitive but alive, the first animals of a new world. High above, the Prometheus Rising still orbited, automated systems keeping it functional. Its sensors recorded everything happening below, the rapid spread of life across a once barren world, the transformation of desert into garden, the emergence of a complete ecosystem from 5 transformed humans. And on the surface, Elena Vasquez watched the sunrise through eyes that could see photosynthesis happening in real time, and she felt peace. The planet had waited so long for the right visitors. Against all odds it had found them. Humanity had come to claim a new world. Instead, the world had claimed humanity and transformed them into something magnificent. The first ships from Earth would arrive in 3 more years. When they came, they would find a living world where there had been nothing. They would find the transformed crew waiting for them, ready to explain, ready to offer a choice. And some of them, the brave ones, the curious ones, the ones who understood that humanity's destiny was not just to survive but to create, would choose to stay. They would choose to become. And across the galaxy, other Genesis engines would detect the signal. Other empty worlds would begin to pulse with renewed hope. After billions of years of waiting, life was finally spreading again. Human life. Transformed, transcendent, but unmistakably human. Exactly as the builders had hoped.